Most people think that PNG files are just sold as clip art sets, and while many of them are sold this way on Etsy, they can also be used for designs for things like glass jars, coffee mugs, mouse pads, wind spinners, garden flags, and t-shirt designs, just to name a few things. So in this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 performing PNG designs as well as their AI prompts and how to create them in one of the easiest tools out there that will take you just about a minute. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. I am Bailey, the owner of Bailey Designed Co., one of the largest digital download shops on Etsy, and I'm also a 0.1% seller of digital products and have sold over $1.5 million on the platform in just about 2 years with a simple $2 to $3 design like these tumbler wraps and PNG designs, and now I teach how to do the same on this channel and in my online programs. Okay, so number 1 is this Let Us Thank Him for Our Food, which is a Thanksgiving Christian design, and even though it is seasonal, it still sells throughout each month and has made me over $2,900, and this is just one design. And that is why it is so important to build up your library of designs with designs that have both demand and are seasonal or trending, because you never know when one of these will pop off like this one did for me. And if I am remembering correctly, I do believe that this listing is just over a year old. Okay, so over in Kittl, I am just going to start out by clicking on New Project up here. When I create my PNG designs to be used for any of the products that I talked about earlier, like t-shirts or a glass jar design, I always just make them at 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. That way I know that it is large enough to fit on any of those mediums and not lose quality. So I'm just changing those sizes right up here in the width and the height. Make sure that this is set to pixels, and then making sure that the DPI is set to 300. And then I've clicked create, and I'm just going to minimize this just a little bit so that it doesn't take up the entire screen. My next step is to click on Kittl's AI image generator, which is the second to the bottom here. And what I like about Kittl is that they have a bunch of image styles and clip art styles that are already preset. That way you are just able to type in your prompt and then click the style that you want it created in. It takes a lot of guesswork out as far as the design style that you're trying to create, and it also helps to maintain the consistency of the similar type of design if you do wind up creating one of those sets or bundles. So as you can see with this Let Us Thank Him for Our Food design, I just actually generated a bunch of individual clip art images, such as the deer, the bullet, the duck, the fish hook, the turkey, and the fish, and then I actually added in my own text. With many AI generators, it's very difficult for it to come out perfectly without a bunch of misspellings or different weird placements. And so for me, a lot of the times, unless it's a very simple saying like 2 to 3 words, it's just easier for me to go ahead and type that out and not waste a bunch of credits. So for this example, this is what I'll exactly be doing. So another great thing about Kittl is that if you ever want to go back to one of your previous prompts because you aren't keeping a running list like I used to, is you can click on the Uploads tab right here and then click on your AI generated images. And this is going to bring up all of the past prompts and images that you've been creating. If you hover over the little dots right here, you can actually view the prompt, and then you can use the prompt again. It'll put it in the box and you can do any changes and then go ahead and regenerate from there. I did want to point out that for this one, the first go around, I didn't put any specific colors. So it was just a turkey with a hand-drawn grunge aesthetic watercolor white background. It didn't have any type of color palette or anything, and so it gave me this really bright neon colored turkey, which would be great maybe for a different type of project, but not for the style that I'm going. So what I did was add in colors of forest green, brown, hunter green, natural colors with the following hand-drawn grunge aesthetic. So I'm just going to demo this just for a little bit, but when I am creating something like this, when I need all of the pieces to have the same style, I like to change as little as possible within the prompt. So for example, all that I did was change the turkey to deer, and that was it. I did also change this one to use the 9:16 ratio because I didn't want any of his horns to be cut off in the generation of it, and that seems to work if you have an image that is going to be taller than the usual 1-to-1 square. So now I'm just going to click on AI background remover, which is right here. And then I'm just going to arrange all of my subjects in a similar way to what I had before. So this is the final output. As you can see, I just added some text. I ended up using this Adventurer 06. It is a little bit different than the other one that I had created, but I actually like this one better just because it is more bold and I don't have to do an outline around the letters to make it stand out. If you don't like so much watercolor in your design, you can always switch the style over to be the graphic t-shirt design or t-shirt graphic. I found that that usually works well and you won't get all of these splashes, but most of my customers within the sublimation space prefer this, so you will have to do some testing based on what your audience likes and what they currently already purchased from you. So for this next one, it's earned quite a bit less than the first one, but it's also a very new listing. Still, it's earned over $400 and took 0 compilation time like the last one did, because this is kind of following the book talk trend with the morally gray type of characters in certain types of books. And if you want to learn more about that, I will just leave that up to you to look it up on TikTok. So for this next one, it's a fairly simple, still watercolor design. You can see that the text is actually placed on the books here, and it doesn't even have the full quote on here. You can see that it's the latter end of book, but that's it. So it most likely probably would have had some type of spelling issue. I believe that this one took me a few rounds to get it correct without having an extra R. So we'll see how it works this time. Again, over in Kittl, I'm just going to click on my uploads and navigate back over to those images and find the last time that I had generated the book club image. So now that I've grabbed it, I'm just going to click on use prompt so it will populate up here. And I'm actually going to switch it back to the square, the 1-to-1 ratio, and see what that pulls. The prompt was a grungy and vintage style stack of gothic novels with gray and black roses all around, vintage style, and the text morally gray book club in watercolor style. Okay, and this would have been perfect except for it has this AI generated text here in the center, but I like how it is stacked like this and you can read the entire thing. I don't like that it actually put Gothic up here as well, though it would fit if I decided to use this. This could definitely be fixed if I wanted to take the time to do that, but the point is to get it to generate as quickly as possible so we can move on with the next one. So I'm just going to go ahead and generate again. And it looks like we aren't having much luck. This one is even worse than the last one, and because it put this underneath the morally gray, though it is spelling it correctly, and then it went ahead and did this book, random book here, and then had book club here. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this again. Okay, so this one looks like it will work, and I actually don't mind this. I know that you are not seeing the other L, but that's fine. The other one did perfectly fine with it not showing the beginning of the book part. So I would go ahead and use this as is, though now that I look at it, it is cut off on both sides, so that will not work. So let's go ahead for a 5th time. I do want to mention that hopefully that you can see that kind of regardless of which AI tool that you are using, in my experience, it does sometimes take a few different generations for it to actually get what you're looking for. In my, again, experience, it's usually never perfect on the first roll. So this one, again, they seem to be getting worse. And I've mentioned this before to the members in my design club that when it seems to be doing this for me, what I'll do is just copy the entire prompt and actually close out of Kittl and restart the whole process again. For whatever reason, it seems to reset the process, so I don't know if that's just something in my head or I'm imagining it, but it usually seems to reset it because they tend to get worse and worse the more that you keep generating. So let's see if my idea is right or not with this roll. So this time it came out with Morally Gray Book Club Club and Morally is missing an L. So we aren't having much luck with this, even though I have several versions of this up on my shop where it never has actually taken this long, but this is a good example of sometimes it just takes a few times. Okay, and success. We finally have one that will work. I love the colors. It has Morally Gray and then the book club is correct down here. Everything looks great. I actually am going to save this for real just because I don't want to waste all of the prompts or credits that took. I do always recommend removing the background if you haven't already removed it by clicking on AI background remover. When you are downloading it, you need to save as a transparent PNG, so make sure that little box is checked, and then I always click optimize quality. So once that has downloaded, then that would be ready to be added to a mock-up or to my Etsy shop if I was just selling it as is. Now, so you don't have to worry about trying to copy all of these prompts and styles down, I've already compiled them for you in a free quick start guide along with 10 more highly performing bonus prompts that I had, but I just didn't have time to fit them all in this video. And that is primarily for those of you who like to hang around the 5-minute mark on videos. But in all reality, if you would just like the free prompt guide, just comment below free prompts and I will send that link to you and you can just grab them right away. Now for number 3, we have a more simple one because it has no text. This camel style print 4-wheeler design has made over $400 and that's really all that there is to it. So now on to the 4-wheeler with no words, a very simple watercolor design. I am just going to hop back over to Kittl. I already have my canvas set and this still will be the watercolor style, though I might switch it to the graphic t-shirt design and see if that does anything different. The prompt was a 4-wheeler with a camo print mud watercolor white background. Super simple, not much to it, but it seemed to work. So let's see. Okay, so I did go ahead and use the graphic t-shirt design, which is what I will just keep this as. And I am actually going to go ahead and remove the background and save this one just because, again, it's a usable graphic for something in the future that I might need. And I actually forgot that I was supposed to AI image upscaler. I have been doing this lately on all of mine just to make sure that they are the highest quality. So please make sure that you do that when you are either watching this again or creating yours in the future. I do always click this now that they have added the upscale feature in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and download it just like I did before by removing the background and optimizing quality. So this next one is a text-based design with just a little help from AI to make it pop. It's made close to $500 and I chose to mock it up on a glass jar. The saying isn't really suitable for the video, but it's the quote I'm sure that many of you have heard, which is "Let's keep the dumb blank to a minimum today." And that was really it with a few floral elements added. Finally is number 5, which is one of my best performing t-shirt designs that I honestly thought would go nowhere, but here we are sitting at just over $2,000 and it still sells pretty much every single day. It has no text on it and is just a simple cottage coral style floral design that I mocked up on a t-shirt. So for this design, again, it's just a simple cottage coral, cottage core floral style print. And in Kittl, I am going to actually switch it to the 9x16 because it always seemed to cut some of the flowers off. But it is a rather detailed prompt, so probably the most detailed. And I'm gonna leave it on t-shirt graphic style to try to avoid as much watercolor splashes as possible. But the prompt was a hand-drawn detailed illustration of various flowers and plants. Dominating the scene are large yellow daisies with white petals and a prominent yellow center. Surrounding them are smaller white daisies, delicate orange blossoms, and intricate gray and orange leaves. The background is pure white. So this would usually work out perfect. I am going to actually save it because it is a little bit more poppy, so it is just a different style, but I could definitely see it working as a t-shirt design. So as usual, I'll just remove that background and then upscale it and then see if I can get it more of a similar style to what I had before. So this time under clip art style, I'm actually going to switch it to pencil drawing. I'm not sure if I have used this one before for this style. I think I have, and it turned out good. Even with the colors still, it was still just more of that hand-drawn effect, which the original one isn't. I mean, it's kind of a combination of both, like doodle style, watercolor, and hand-drawn, though it doesn't have a lot of watercolor splashes, which is why I really ended up liking it, and I think that's probably why it's sold a lot. So this is just really, really similar to what I just got. So I'm going to go ahead and try another one. So this one is using the watercolor style, and I actually didn't get any splashes with it. So this is the one that I would end up using. So I'll go ahead and save this one. We didn't get one that looked quite the same as this, so I would have to go back and try to get it exactly what I had. I couldn't find the original prompt for this one, so it might be that it only saves a certain amount of your prompts because I could not end up finding that one in Kindle to see the exact prompt, or maybe it was made with a different version. So hopefully this all makes sense, and if not, let me know definitely down below in the comments if you have any questions on this. Again, if you want these 5 prompt ideas plus the 10 bonus ones that I didn't have time to share, be sure to comment free prompts down below and I will send you the link right away. If you want the fastest way to create a clip art bundle with a tool that will do all of the mockup and listing process for you, then do be sure to click out on this video next here, and that will help you out so much. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.